The Warriors are the 3 seed this year and just beat the Nuggets in back-to-back games. But how did they get here? And before we get into today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel because only 2% of you are subscribed. If we want to find out how the Warriors got here, then we have to go back to the 2019 NBA Finals. The Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors were in their final year, and they were set up to go against an underdog Toronto Raptors squad in the finals, who were being led by three-time All-Star Kawhi Leonard and Raptors legend Kyle Lowry. The finals started off with Kevin Durant being inactive, as he wasn't 100% healthy after the Houston series. This Raptors team would take advantage of this by focusing on the lack of star power the Warriors had. And with this, Coach Nick Nurse decided to pounce on the Warriors by having his 6 best players all play more than 29 minutes. And that's not even including how Pascal had a night to remember, as he'd go off for 14 from 17 on the field and score a team-high 32 points. However, the Warriors had been here before, as this was their 5th year in a row appearing in an NBA Finals, so they knew exactly what needed to be done in Game 2. It was Klay Thompson's turn to step up, as he would go off for 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, with nearly all of those points coming in the first half. Each of those 25 points proved to be valuable for the Warriors, as they would go on to win the game by only 5 in a 109-104 score. But when Game 3 and 4 came around, unless your name was Klay and Steph, then you have awful shooting nights in both of those games. And with the role players struggling in back-to-back games, the Warriors would fall to 1-3 in the series. Game 5 would mark the return of superstar Kevin Durant, though the excitement of his return would barely last, as only 11 minutes into the game, he would tear his Achilles, taking him out for the rest of the season. Steph would rally the team together in this game in honor of KD, which seemed to work as the squad stepped up and won the game by 1 point. After that, the fall of the Warriors began. Without KD in Game 6, the Warriors wouldn't have enough firepower to push past the Toronto Raptors, as they'd go on to lose 114-110. But the worst part of the game was the fact that shooting guard Klay Thompson would tear his ACL, taking him out for the rest of the series. And after this season, the super team slowly began to fall apart, as during the 2019 offseason, Kevin Durant would leave Golden State to join Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn. The only good thing about Kevin Durant leaving is that Golden State acquired superstar point guard D'Angelo Russell in a sign-and-trade. Though only a few months later in October, Aaron Baines would fall on Stephen Curry's hand, breaking it. And now, with this clearly being a rebuilding season, since Klay and Steph were injured, the Warriors thought it would be best to get rid of D'Angelo Russell for a young Andrew Wiggins and a future first, who would become Jonathan Kuminga. And in that 2020 season, that would be cut short by COVID, it would be one of the ugliest in franchise history, as the squad was only able to muster 15 wins, with their top 3 stars from last season all being gone. But with that terrible season came a prize for the Warriors, and the first overall pick in James Wiseman. Now, with having Andrew Wiggins for almost a year in that Golden State system, Steph being healthy, and having a James Wiseman down low, they were bound to improve, which was pretty easy for them because that's the only thing you can do after a 15-win season. These Warriors went off to finish 8th in the West with a 39-33 record, which is more than double the amount of wins they had the season prior. Now, heading into the play-in game as the 8th seed, They were looking to take on a very talented Los Angeles Lakers squad who were being led by LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That's right, they had to face the reigning champs in a one-game series. And of course, they'd lose to LeBron and AD, but they did put up a fight as the game would be very, very close. But next for them was a young 9th-seeded Grizzlies squad who was being led by Ja Morant. However, in this very important winner-go-home game, the Warriors would squander their opportunity of appearing in the playoffs by falling to Memphis in a legendary game that would go on into overtime. But everyone saw the potential this team had going into the 2022 season, with some rankings having them as high as maybe 2 or 3 in the West. Now, with Klay Thompson returning to the lineup after nearly 2 years, and young star Jordan Poole emerging, this team seemed destined for greatness. It's almost as if the Warriors had a mini rebuild in only 3 seasons, and of course, they'd be the team to do it. The Golden State team had been more loaded than ever, with Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green making the All-Star game this year. And now that they had ended the season in the 3rd place, I feel as though they have a real shot at being NBA champs this season. I mean, I could really see them knocking off a Phoenix Suns team who's struggling against the Pelicans. And Memphis is a little too young for my liking. I just don't think they have enough experience to really go far in this year's playoffs. And so, if the Warriors do manage to get another ring, I think it's safe to say the Golden Dynasty has returned. Now, I know it may seem like I'm only adding this part to boost time in my video, but that's only half the reason. The other half is that I wanted to ask you guys, the audience, what kind of videos you'd like to see next. I mean, I will be making more NBA content with the playoffs going on, but after that, what other sports would you guys like to see? Because I'm thinking about throwing in some NFL content with the draft approaching, and maybe some more MLB content now that the season's getting off and underway. And maybe later in the year, with the World Cup coming soon, I might even throw in a couple soccer videos here and there. So just kinda leave a comment asking what kind of videos you'd like to see, and I'll check them out. Later.